work-based learning, Dr. Mallory Dubey has done her research in educational policy and curriculum studies in ESL from IFLU, Hyderabad. Now, so without any further delay, let's hear more from you. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Divya. And thank you, everyone from the team NSN. I'm so glad that we are continuing with these webinars. We have got good number of registrations and also we are waiting for people to join. But even without that, we are actually live on YouTube as well. So uh, whoever's watching us, you can share your views or your questions in the comments on YouTube and here on chat. So I welcome you all once again to this session. And today's session is dedicated to the aspect of sustainability, which is a very important word today. Considering the kind of changes the world is going through globally, the changes we are going through, and also what post-COVID, developments have taught us, how we have navigated through the pandemic and what we learned from there. And most importantly, the uncertainty of the job market, the economy, which is, uh, you know, very aggressively influenced by technology, the kind of technology infusion that's happening in the job market. So keeping all this in mind, we need to look at how our education system can adopt sustainable models and move towards sustainability. And that's where vocational education plays a very important role. I'll be using the word vocational education to convey anything that is work-based learning, skill-based learning, where there is an importance for hands-on learning, practical learning, or applied learning. So there are many names for this, but I would prefer to use vocational education for this particular session. So let me get started. I hope you're able to view my presentation. Yes. Divya, are you able to see the PPT?
Yes, ma'am, you can see.
Yes, madam, it is clear.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let me get started with this. Yeah. So when you look at the youth in India, what comes to our mind is that they want to participate actively in the society. They have aspirations, they have dreams, and then they want to do well. Everybody wants to do well basically in their lives through a successful career. And then there is a point about labor market entry where most of the youth may not be able to get into the jobs because millions of them come out of colleges every year and every month also. So many of them we see graduating, completing various certifications. But is there a job for everyone? Do they all fit into the kind of jobs that are available? Or even if they get into a job, do they get decent pay or salary, and how long do they stick on to the job? What is the attrition rate of these youth? So when we look at all these points, what comes to our mind is that there seems to be a kind of mismatch, right, between education. uh, in India, mostly when we say education, we know it is a degree or a diploma or a certificate, um, academic learning most of the time, and what people want in the industry, or what the job wants, what kind of skills the job needs. Obviously, bookish learning and rote learning is not going to help us there. This is a very well-known point. I'm just trying to reinforce it. So when we look at technical and vocational education, I would like to just convey the difference. Technical here is about education that teaches us mostly theory and science behind any occupation. So it could be any trade, any occupation, and you will be learning mostly the technical aspects. It may or may not have a lot of hands-on learning, whereas vocational, on the other hand, is specific to jobs. It is completely job aligned. So when I say I'm doing a vocational course in drones, in flying drones, that means I'm totally, into the skill acquisition part of it, how to fly a drone, okay, or how to do something and do it successfully. So this is the difference. And most of the time, we have seen general education and vocational education as something which can never be aligned with each other, or something which is always seen in going in the opposite direction, or no scope to bring them together because of various reasons, social reasons, like the general perception that vocational is inferior, or general is a very rich academic learning. So many things, our mindset, our attitude, all that come into the picture. Now let us look at an example. This example is picked up from one of the news items, where we see an international collaboration for manufacturing these planes. Okay, so this is going to be in Nagpur, as it is written here, and it is between Reliance and Dassault, which is from France. So it's a very big joint venture in aerospace industry. Now when we come across news like this, we feel happy that over a period of time, this particular collaboration is going to create thousands of jobs, which will need lot of skilling in aerospace sector. And there will be a need for the ecosystem to develop around that place. So there will scope for a lot of small manufacturers, OEM, like original equipment manufacturers, etc., to contribute to this entire manufacturing, assembly, integration process. In other words, we feel happy that, yeah, there are a lot of jobs coming up and there is scope to get into these jobs. But you look at the other side of the picture, how many people know that such jobs exist? Not many, right? How many people who are doing their 10th or 12th or in schools or are in schools know that these type of jobs exist? Today, when we look at jobs, we have a certain notion about jobs. Now, let us look at one more example. There is a lot of growth and development of homestays in India. These are all homestays which are actually giving competition to big hotels. Now, as a part of hospitality industry, they are creating entrepreneurship opportunities and job opportunities. Now, how much of awareness is there among young students, like say young people, that there is a lot of scope to learn the skills which are needed in this industry and maybe work in this industry, right? So we see that not much awareness is still there. Then if you continue to look at the news items, every now and then, we see that logistics industry is going to create 10 million jobs by 2027. Are we ready with, plans to skill people to this industry? Today, when you think of logistics, most of the time we think of couriers and uploading or downloading, warehouse, very, basic level job roles. But actually, logistics has a lot of science, lot of technology, lot of higher end skills and knowledge which is needed. Not much awareness is there. Then Microsoft is going to provide AI skilling for 2 million people. So this is a wonderful news. We all know that, yes, artificial intelligence is going to change the lives of all of us. It is already doing. So there is scope for new kind of work. So learning AI skills is very good for us. So there are certain places where we are aware, in some places we are not aware. Then one more example is the MSME sector, which is the small, medium, micro, small and medium enterprises. It always, as we know, creates most number of jobs, and these jobs keep increasing every year. And the good thing about MSME jobs is that, especially the small and medium enterprises, most of the time these enterprises are more accessible, and also it is comparatively easy to find jobs in this kind of sector than trying for the big large companies. So why I'm talking about jobs and the kind of scope various industries is creating by giving those examples is that education and skills, um, till today in India, even though for the last 10 years, we see a lot of push from the government through policy, through various other interventions, to look at these things differently, still it has not sunk in. People are still not able to accept the fact that vocational education or skills could be integrated, or it is the way to go ahead. That is what 21st century is all about. That is what future is all about. This needs a lot of awareness creation, because we have certain perceptions, we have certain attitudes, value system, beliefs, etc., which has been there in our society for hundreds of years, and we cannot change it in just one go. So it will gradually change. But by mainstreaming vocational education, there is a lot of scope. So we will go ahead and see what it is all about. Now, just to summarize this part, when we look at education, you can look at the recent examples like the NEET exam which happened, or the IIT JEE, the competitive exams, or the UPSC exams. All these very, very aspirational exams, when you look at that, just think of what happens to students who repeatedly appear for these exams and come back dejected if they don't get a seat. Right? We think about them? Is it because we have so much of population in India that it hardly matters if somebody is passing or failing or committing suicide because of various reasons? So, we have to think in such depth to understand why vocational or skill-based learning is so important, that, it will change not only the lives of young people, but also it will give them a lot of hope. A lot of other value-added things come in when this changes. So today, as I just showed you, education and skills are still not included. When we say education, it usually means academic and general education. And when we say skills, it is usually perceived as, okay, skill-based thing is for those who are not able to come through the academic, stream, or not do well academically, or dropping out, or various other things. Now, let's look at the employment part of it. Here also, we have certain perceptions, attitudes, etc. Employment, till today, people think, mostly the parents, the social part of it, people think that, yeah, employment means a permanent job. Employment means a good, stable salary. Employment means getting a job in IT industry, or, there are so many of these notions that again have to break. And this is definitely not easy. And when people, as we know, keep appearing for government, competitive exams, or apply for government jobs, which are totally a mismatch with their qualification, these things are kind of making the system even more complex, because there is no acceptance at this point in time to among people that the things are changing. 21st century job market is not what it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago. The parents don't still understand that, their child may not be able to get the kind of job the parents are dreaming about, right? So all these changes also have to be taken into consideration. Now, another important point is sustainability. How sustainable are our initiatives? How sustainable? Can it last long? Can it go on for a long time? Is it resilient? Can it withstand the changes or anything that disrupts the entire situation or the ecosystem? Or is it like, okay, we start something today and tomorrow, it just doesn't exist? So are we proactively looking at these solutions, or are we, reacting to various situations? So sustainability or sustainable thinking is more of a proactive way of looking at things. So as we know, when we talk about sustainability, we generally talk about climate, environment, ecosystem. We want to save the earth. We want to do many good things. We want to educate people. And that is broken down into a lot of things that everybody is thinking about, dreaming about. The same thing applies to our education system, our jobs, and all that we do with ourselves. So sustainability is not something that is outside. It goes into each and every element of education, skills, employment, employability, and various other aspects. So in other words, when we are talking about education and skills, we have to look at the economy, the big picture, and also look at how sustainable our initiatives are. So when we talk about sustainability, mainstreaming vocational education becomes absolutely critical. Now, why mainstreaming? What is mainstreaming? Mainstreaming is like, okay, we are going to give this particular concept, that is vocational education and training, more importance and bring it into the center of things. Okay, we are not sidelining it, we are not pushing it to the periphery like it is right now, correct? So this is what we are saying. We want to bring it into, the main system. So we want to integrate it basically with the general education system. At present, when you think of vocational or skills, we generally hear about government school students learning few vocational subjects, okay, mostly in CBSE type of schools. Or we hear about ITI students who learn technical and vocational subjects. Or we hear about students or those youth or people who want to get into some job, they learn they learn skills through short-term training programs. This is the kind of image we have about skills and vocational education today, predominantly. Now, when we do mainstreaming, when we mainstream it, then what happens? There are so many benefits. Academically, the students get a chance to go upward mobile. That is, they have options for mobility. They can move from one stream to another. There is socio-economic angle to it, where they can grow, earn better salaries, and improve their social status, and also aspire, to do things which they could never dream of earlier, because they will see that they are able to progress in many ways. And emotionally, it helps us get that self-worth. We feel good, okay, we feel we are self-reliant, we don't have to depend on others. So these are all the advantages. Now, what is the framework for mainstreaming vocational education in India? At present, all this is mostly driven by the National Education Policy 2020, which is talking in a very strong way. In fact, this is the first time a policy is laying so much emphasis on mainstreaming vocational education. It talks about integration of vocational education with general education, and no rigid or hard separation between curricular and extracurricular or any stream or subject like humanities, sciences, engineering, technology. Everything is the same under the eyes of the NEP 2020. And then the policy also aspires to achieve the goal of making every student learn at least one vocational subject from class 6 to 8. Then also introduces this bagless days concept in school, and it also talks about through various frameworks how integration of school level learning with higher education is possible through NSQF and the credit system. And also we have options now to offer higher education in vocational through BVOC and MVOC. So the policy is quite a landmark a policy. It is a major milestone if you look at the history of education and vocational education and training in India. Now let us look at the kind of common perception we have about students, the notions we have. All of us have this so strong in ourselves that we feel, there is just one way to go up, up, and up. This is what I was telling in the beginning. So it is a climb, okay, from school to college, and then one just keeps going up. What happens if you are not able to climb the ladder, and if you are discontinuing, then for various reasons, one of them could be you need to work. So when students need to work, when students need to take up a job, they drop out. Or when students don't have enough money to spend on the educational, various programs, they drop out. Or when they know that that doesn't interest them, the academic learning doesn't interest them, they drop out, right? So there are multiple reasons for students to drop out. And the moment somebody is discontinuing or dropping out, there is a big social stigma that, somebody has dropped out. And generally the perception is that, okay, if you have dropped out, it means you are good for nothing, right? You're not academically good. So you cannot go to JEE, or you cannot enter into an engineering college. You cannot do this and that. This is so much ingrained in all of us. So what do we do here? How do we correct this imbalance? This notion of academic versus, non-academic. That is where we need lot of flexibility, multidisciplinary courses, interdisciplinary courses, and we have to look at holistic development as a goal of education. And we have to look at models which are application oriented, which have skills in them. And also we need to recognize various forms of learning. So this is the crux of the matter here, and this is the essence of NEP 2020. And this is how it is talking about mainstreaming vocational education. In case you have already, done a bit of research or attended webinars, or you must have had other kinds of interaction, you would have heard a lot about reimagining vocational education or reimagining skill development. Why reimagine? That's because of this. These are the reasons. We need to relook at it. We need to see how we can, have come up with a complete overhaul of the system, so that things are very different and they are very relevant to our times, relevant to our situation. Now, in other words, what the policy is talking about and why mainstreaming is because we want to create, a lot of equity among students or youth, especially those who drop out, like I just mentioned, help them with more, opportunities, make it little bit flexible, allow them into, to come back to the, the academic system, or those who are not keen on academic learning, help them get into the work-based learning. So this is, so new that for a country which has had only one homogeneous system of education for so many years, not only after independence, but before independence, and we know the legacy is continuing even today, it is so difficult to think in this way. But I feel very positive about this change, because I believe that it may take a lot of time for us to gradually accept the fact that things need to change. And like with any change, there is a lot of pain, right? Change management is a very painful process. So here I think we are going through those pains right now. So let us look at also the complexity of the country, why one homogeneous system of education will not work in India, and the proof we know year by year what is happening to our education system. So that's another reason why we need so many options, so much of like heterogeneity to cater to people who live in different geographies, people who are affected by various natural, calamities, or people who live in, let's say somebody living in northeastern India, they have their own challenges, or somebody living in, let's say, in some part of Kerala or in Orissa. So region-wise also, education has to cater to the local needs. So that's the reason why mainstreaming vocational education becomes important. Now, to sum it up here, what we see is that learning today, if you look at how learning happens today, or how learning has been happening, let's say, over the last few decades, we do have models, we do have examples of learning and earning. Okay, so it could be work-based learning, or it could be people learning half the time and working and learning, or it could be learning and earning at the same time, like probably, getting some stipend or a small salary. So this is one model which is all over the place. We need to accept this model. Then another learning model is a lot of hands-on learning keeps happening. Most of us are very, very happy when we learn hands-on. Let me put it that way. We love to do practicals. We love to break things and then make them, right? So most of us are like that. And learning is also OJT type of learning, on the job training. That's also one form of learning. Then the third one is on-campus learning, which we all know. We go to this physical the institution where everybody sits in a classroom and learns. Then there is blended learning, where classroom plus flip model, etc., where technology enabled learning has become such a big thing today. And then the fifth is most important here for vocational is the qualifications and credits that come with learning. It is not just the degree or the diploma or the certificate. Today, the time has come for us to take that certificate and add few credits on that certificate, or take that diploma and add few credits on that diploma. In fact, the long-term courses actually have to be broken down into shorter modules, because today, if you look at the changes that are happening, you see that the attention span of most students is also coming down. That could be because of the technology, that could be because of the use of mobile phones, that could be the kind of changes that are happening in the environment. Gradually, we see that students are not able to pay so much attention. Maybe when we were students, my generation, probably the generations after me, were very different. We didn't have a lot of distractions. But today, every child is living in a very, very distracted world. So, do we really need to put them through such long school hours or college hours? Is there a way we can revamp this entire thing? This is where micro credentials is also becoming important. So, when we talk about sustainability, the way it has been interpreted in terms of mainstreaming vocational education in India, when you look at the policy is heavily dependent on thoughts from Mahatma Gandhi, and the policy has also borrowed from SDGs, that is Sustainable Development Goals from the United Nations. I'm sure you are aware of these goals, the 17 goals. Especially the fourth and the eighth are very important. The fourth one is about quality education, and the eighth is decent work. Actually, the fourth goal, it kind of connects to many other goals, because education is the base, right, on which we build many other things. So when we have to interpret sustainability here, sustainability will mean livelihoods, sustainable livelihoods. Okay, today we are creating livelihood options, let us say, through short-term skill development programs. Somebody is being given training, let's say in carpentry, or somebody is being given training in digital marketing or something else and something else. There are so many industry sectors. They do these very short programs from 3 to 6 months. Okay. Now, is this really sustainable? Is it really creating that kind of livelihood option for them? It may not be true for all because of various other reasons, which is outside the scope of this webinar. But at least to some extent, the livelihood options and the jobs that these people get, either through short-term training or after completion of their high school or college, it has to show them some hope that, yeah, look, with this you can earn so much. Okay, with this you are you can get this much of salary, or this can be your lifestyle, or this can be. But it is so difficult for us to predict all these things, because that is how the job market is, that is how things are changing. So maybe it's only in some government and private sector jobs it is possible that everything comes on a piece of paper. But there also, I'm not sure how much of it is really that certain or secure today. Overall, the picture is everything is in a flux. Jobs which are there today might change tomorrow. Somebody will have to upskill. In spite of all this, despite this kind of a situation, what would be a option for sustainable livelihood, sustainable job, or what would be some way or ways for these people to find work? So it may not be possible with just one skill, one trade, right? They might have to get trained through multi-skilling. They might have to learn more number of skills or connected skills, or they might have to, do a lot of learning in transferable skills, like 21st century skills, or combining all this, they might have to do things on their own. In other words, it points to something like lifelong learning. And the other aspect of sustainability is what we call as greening TVET, where for vocational education and training from the United Nations, from UNESCO, etc., there have been a lot of initiatives where lot of training skills, etc., are being included, for climate, environment, saving the earth, or you name it. There are so many of these practices which are there. That is also becoming a part of a sustainable curriculum in terms of vocational education. And to top it all, we have technology as an enabler. We cannot think of sustainability without technology today because it is so much a part of our lives. Whether whatever activity we do, we cannot think of a life, whether you live in rural areas or semi-urban or anywhere. The reach of technology is so powerful that it contributes a lot towards sustainable initiatives, like in terms of scaling something, or amplifying the impact of something, reaching out to more people. There are so many ways in which technology can be made a part of sustainability. So I would say combining all this is what actually contributes to mainstreaming and sustainability. Now, I'll have to quickly take you through a few important concepts from Gandhian thought on education. Basically, it comes from his philosophy of Nai Talim, which is about new way of learning and education, where Mahatma Gandhi gave a lot of importance to intellectual, practical, and emotional. It was a kind of a holistic education. So his thought was already a part of few other, like Kothari Commission and other commission reports, etc., which came out in the 60s, but it never got implemented in a very strong way. Whereas today, through NEP 2020 and with the idea of introducing skills in schools, we see that it has a lot of Gandhian influence. So when Mahatma Gandhi made craft-centric education as the center, for livelihoods, he had a lot of belief and faith in that. And it is so true that today, why are we going back to this? We are going back to it because primarily India is, a rural economy. There's so much of, so many people living in rural areas, and there is so much of requirement there that, we need to train them, we need to teach them about these things, or we need to help them learn to come up in their lives, and, and also explore various opportunities, because until we reach there, it is not a successful model, right? So that's also an element of sustainability. So here, the craft-centric education, which borrows from Gandhian philosophy, is already included. So a craft, as we know, for a child, it could be a craft like this. But as we grow grow up, and then we get into higher education, a craft could also be something else. A craft could also be developing an app, right? There could be many other interpretations of the craft. So going ahead with this Mahatma Gandhi's thought, work-centric education is something that comes out strongly. And why craft is because, he had this belief about working with our hands. And also the vocational element becomes important because of the dignity of work, the decent livelihood, that the thought which comes, very clearly in this. And also socially useful and productive kind of work was also a part of his educational philosophy. Even though when Mahatma Gandhi was talking about these things, there was no technology or those, kind of developments there. Today, we see that there is a lot of scope to integrate technology into this thought and come up with options for schools, for young people to, learn these skills. So to summarize his thought, it was more about hands-on. It was more about creating something, producing something, and learning in mother tongue, which is also important, especially at the school level, and learning multiple skills, and also not limiting learning to textbooks. And there was also emphasis on, participating in the community. So that when we do all this, education becomes so holistic, and it caters to, as he would say, head, heart, and hand. So it is taking care of all the intellectual, the physical, and everything. Now, holistic learning, as per his philosophy was experiential, it was immersive, joyful, engaging, and it was based on discovery. All these points today have become a part of mainstreaming vocational education. All these important points. Now, why the benefit, why these crafts, or why do working with hands? When I'm using the word craft, you can extend it to anything that we do while we work with our hands, while we produce something. It could be coding a program, or it could be creating a robot, or it could be manufacturing something. Wherever our hands are, our cognitive skills, our psychomotor skills, all these skills are involved. I think we can extend the word craft to all of these. And that is also the reason when we have these ITI courses are known as, craftsman training, right? So probably it has a link to this. So these are the benefits, right? Here, there are a lot of benefits. I'm sure you can try this yourself over the weekend. Just spend some time learning something, like a craft. Do something with your hand. If you have never cooked, please cook something. If you have never cleaned or cleaned your room or home or done something for a long time, do that. Do something, or you do some gardening, do something in your house, and then you see the kind of satisfaction we have. We feel so positive, so energetic. Basically, that is the thought which has to come into education. Should be enjoyable. It should be something which stays with me. Unlike today's education, where we are insisting that people just do the rote learning to write the exams, get marks, get grades, and then go to the competitive exams and then pass or fail. And then God knows after that what happens to most of the children. Unlike that, this is the approach where when you mainstream vocational education, not only the technical or the application skills come in, we also get a lot of, like we say, for our mental health also it helps. It builds flexibility, resilience, and so many things. And the other thing, as I told you, which a mainstreaming vocational education concept is borrowing, is from SDGs. These are the 17 SDGs. Now I have a question for all of you, whoever's attending on the YouTube as well. How familiar are you with SDGs? Did you have any opportunity to work in any of these SDGs? Did you do any activity in this? So 1 or 2 minutes, please answer. You can respond in the chat. How familiar are you? Was there an opportunity for you to contribute to this?
It should be answered or it should be written.
You can leave a message in the chat. We'll come back to the discussion after my presentation.
Fine.
Yeah, you can just leave a message in the chat for now. Yeah. Okay, so as I said earlier, this education, which is, okay, Mr. Murlidhar, you're working on SDG 348, okay? 3 is health, education, and gender equality. That's very interesting to know. Okay, Mr. Ramchandra Shukla, we have stopped using plastic. Yeah, that's very nice. I think all of us are trying hard, right? So that's also one of the sustainable, goals. One of the sustainable development goals. And I'm sure most of us directly or indirectly are connected with these SDGs. Formally or informally also. Formally, it could be a part of your work, or something that you do, as a hobby, or like you said just now, at home, we try to follow most of these things. Now, the importance of SDG 4 and 8 is because SDG 4 is quality education, but when it talks about quality education, it also has integrated vocational education in it, TVET as we call it, skills, apprenticeships, work integrated learning, all this becomes a part of that. And then sustainable development goal, SDG 8, also becomes very important for us, because we are talking about decent work and economic growth. So as we know, the labor force participation in India, even though it keeps growing year by year, it is still very low, especially labor force participation for women. The number is definitely not, that encouraging. So when we observe these things, when we get the reports and look at the statistics, yeah, we feel that, yeah, there are many things that need to be done here. There are a lot of corrective measures that need to be taken, right? So when we look into these aspects, that's where we feel that, okay, we need to link education with work. We need to link education with employability. We need to create strong links between economy and entrepreneurship. So, like for example, today, we are all talking about promoting entrepreneurship among students, that is schools and colleges. I think few years ago, this thought never existed, right? And that is also one of the important aspects of sustainable development goals, because when we are talking about decent work, we are also talking about job opportunities. And these job opportunities cannot be created by big companies everywhere. So we have to have small entrepreneurs, micro entrepreneurs, rural entrepreneurs, and many of those who can create jobs in a very small way, but still create employment for people. So these are all thoughts which are now converting into actions. And then there are other goals like gender equality and no poverty, of course. This connects very closely with vocational education and skills. And there is proof to show, as we know, skills change lives. And we have seen in India itself, with a lot of initiatives from the government and many programs, a lot of people who come from disadvantaged sections of society and also who drop out due to various reasons, or women who cannot continue their education, they have always gained by learning a few skills, and they were able to create that a path for themselves where they are earning decent amount of money, and there also some of them have become entrepreneurs. So that's an example of poverty alleviation, I would say. So from there, now let's look at what it means in terms of the practical part of it or the implementation part of it. Now, any new thought that comes, especially with regard to education, I have seen it for throughout my career of about 3 decades now, during my research days as well, which was into curriculum studies and education policy. When we spoke about change, there is a lot of resistance. Change is not very welcome, because change brings in a kind of uncertainty. It makes us feel a bit shaky. We are not sure about ourselves. We don't know what lies ahead if a certain change comes in. So there are other things, right? A change also means coming out of your comfort zone. And a change also means having a growth mindset. A change also means that we have to be resilient. So the moment the word change, is kind of thought about in great detail, you feel that so many things are associated with change. And now, how am I going to tell people to change? It could be teachers, trainers, or even leadership in the educational institutions. Because mainstreaming vocational education doesn't mean that it will happen on its own. It means a lot of change has to be brought into people's thinking process, what they do, how they accept the change. And when we are telling them about these things, from the other side, we will get to hear the challenges they are facing. And we have to respect those challenges and find solutions. Unless we do this, implementing a change is going to be very difficult, and it becomes a study in change management. So there are 5 important aspects here for teachers, trainers, and faculty members. How can they align with the industry, especially the dynamic job market? How can they become very effective facilitators and enablers of the ecosystem which is changing? And how do we overcome constraints in attracting talent for teaching? we often see that, the best of the people don't get into teaching or training, and especially in vocational trainers, right? So attracting the right talent, paying them well, all these are important aspects. And technology integration in teaching learning. And the fifth one is overall change management. So these are the challenges we'll have to keep in mind. Now, I'm just going to the other part of my presentation where I'm trying to go slightly deeper into the NEP framework, which is talking about mainstreaming vocational education. These are things which you can read up on the net, so I'm not going to take up every point here. Basically, the policy is talking about how the enrollment ratio can be, has to increase, how education again has to be sustainable, and then how these 5 guiding pillars of the policy can help us in that. So these are the 5 guiding pillars: access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. The policy is founded on this. So as I showed you earlier, few slides, the diversity, the kind of, cultural diversity we have, or the geographical spread of the country, the typical situations, the unique situations that are there in many places. How do we address all these? And at the same time, how do we address, the challenges that are there today in terms of skilled workforce? The number of skilled people is so small. And also those who are skilled, are they appropriately skilled? And those who are skilled, do they get paid well? So is it like we don't have jobs? Probably no, we do have jobs. Maybe the jobs we have do not pay people well. Okay, that could be the issue, right? So how do we help people to get paid? How do we tell these companies or the industry to pay them well? These are all allied issues, the challenges which come up. And then the graduate employability rates are so poor, even if they do engineering and management. And also the job creation happens mostly in the informal sector. And on top of it, the vocational education and skilling is the most, the least aspirational. And then when we talk about jobs, we have to look at the other angle of how or why people migrate from one area to another in search of jobs, because job creation or jobs are not uniformly distributed in the country. In some places you have a lot of jobs, lot of development in that sense, and in some places you don't have. So these are all the imbalances. Now the policy says treat knowledge and skills on par with each other. And the goal is by 2025, at least 50% of learners should have exposure to vocational education. Going by the Sustainable Development Goal 4.4, it will also help in realizing India's potential, in terms of demographic dividend. The policy has brought in some changes, structural changes. I'm sure you would have seen the policy, or you would have read about it. At the school level, there is this 5+3+3+4 system, which is dividing the school curriculum in such a way that students get sensitized to different aspects of learning at various levels. And mostly from 6th class onwards, they also have an opportunity to get exposed to the world of work. And higher education is being considered as holistic, multidisciplinary, flexible, etc., with opportunities for apprenticeships, and also the flexible degree program where you have multiple entry exit and opportunities for entrepreneurship promotion and various aspects which are being recommended by the policy for making youth employable. So now let's look at few insights from the policy, why we are talking about mainstreaming vocational education. So we have one comment on YouTube: the integration of vocational education with mainstream education. To some extent, as a science communicator working with school children. Okay, maybe you can share a few more points on this, Mr. N.K.N. Jha, on YouTube. We are talking about mainstreaming. When we say mainstreaming, it means that learning has to be socially meaningful and aspirational, and no hard separation between disciplines, and multidisciplinarity, as I just mentioned. And reimagining of vocational education is very important, and building competencies. So vocational education today, as I just discussed and mentioned, it is considered to be inferior. For all you know, for several more years, it will be the same. We cannot expect a change overnight. It is highly unrealistic because, as I said earlier, all these things are ingrained in our thought process. It's ingrained in our society. It is ingrained in our social fabric, and expecting people to accept something like this overnight will not happen. But that every small step we take in this direction will gradually contribute to achieving the goal. That's the positive belief I have, and that's the reason we from NSN, National Skills Network, we have been continuously creating awareness about vocational and skills for the last 9 years, through various initiatives. I hope you have seen our website. And in case you haven't, please visit. If we have time, I'll definitely take you through the website. So for us, this is the goal. For our company, for our team, this is the goal. We want to convey everything that is positive around it, along with the reality. That's why I said the reality is expecting a change to happen overnight, which will not happen. So gradually, step by step, how do we make it happen? So here, that's one of the reasons why the frameworks have come in, like NSQF, NHEQF, all these frameworks. They are talking about how to make it inclusive, outcome-based, give credits, and how to assign equal credits to all the disciplines and other aspects. And that's, again, for the same reason that we have craft-centric learning, what I just showed you from the Gandhian philosophy. School internships, appreciation of skills through bagless days, encouraging students, especially from the 6th class onwards, to get exposed to the world of work. Go and interact with people around, go and visit maybe a healthcare center or a manufacturing unit or a small hotel or a retail store. When a child gets exposed to these things, the child will start thinking differently about work. Indirectly, they will also be, because children by nature are very curious, they will also have a lot of questions. And if we start encouraging them to ask those questions, I'm sure the entire way we look at education will change. So there is this document, the guidelines which have been created by NCERT and PSS-CIV Bhopal about bagless days. In case you are interested, we can share the link with you. Another important insight is the job market orientation, because the alignment of education with jobs today, it's like a do or die situation. I don't think we have the luxury of time where we continue to think about education as something very nice to do, acquire degree after degree, whether it is connected with each other or not. And one fine day realize that these degrees on their own are not helping us because the world of work has changed. So today, when we go for job interviews, we know that they are more critical about what skills we have, and they are more keen about our potential to learn. How easily can you learn things? How quickly can you learn things? Somebody who can learn things quickly has an edge over others. That's also a skill. So with all these things, the job market, labor market orientation also has to feed into the education system. There has to be a give and take between the industry and the academia. Then technology is another important aspect. Technology adoption in various ways is one where we are talking about technology integration for learning, that is blended learning, flipped classroom, and many other things, and also technology as a subject. Technology skills, emerging technology skills, being important. So giving students opportunities to learn emerging skills like artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, many other things as a part of their degree program would help them. So today, when we are talking about the policy in the degree college level, we are open to, introducing these skill-based subject, no matter whether the student is doing humanities or sciences or engineering or whatever. And likewise, if a student is doing pure engineering or like a BE, BTech kind of a course, those students also should be able to learn humanities or any other subject from liberal arts or anything which is which they are interested or passionate about. So this is the kind of flexibility we are talking about. Then most importantly, the development of teachers without whom nothing can be implemented. So there are steps being taken for this. There are portals like Malaviya Mission portal for teacher training in NEP. There are other important things you can check on if you want, we'll share the links with you. So apart from these insights from the policy, one strong set of skills which are included in various frameworks is the 21st century skills. And these skills are expected to become an integral part of any curriculum so that consciously these students pick up these skills also. Whether it's a formal learning or informal learning or playful learning or game-based learning, they have to pick up few skills which are helping them, in navigating the complexities of, let us say, the job market or the workplace. So those skills fall under these categories. This is from World Economic Forum. Foundational literacies, under which you have various types of literacies. Competencies, where you have like critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, communication, collaboration. And then you have character qualities, like the kind of person one should be: curiosity, initiative, persistence, adaptability. So in case you want to know more about these skills, we also conduct workshops on these 21st century skills. You can let us know. We can have a discussion on this. And we strongly believe that these are the skills which are like, like the vitamins that we take, right? To enhance our immunity level. Isn't it like, we feel that, okay, we should not fall sick or we should not get this or that problem. So we consult a physician and start taking some vitamins on and off. So these skills are like that. They help us in... and they help us in tackling the challenges that come to us. Now, I just thought I'll show you how CBSE has created a list of courses, skill-based courses for classes from 6th to 12th. You can go to the CBSE website and look at this. We will share the link with you. After the webinar is over, in a mail, we can share all these links with you. And also we'll send the feedback form, and I will also share the feedback form. It's very important that you give us the feedback. And for those who are attending on YouTube, we'll share the feedback form on YouTube. So kindly share your feedback. So take a look at CBSE courses as well. So in other words, what is happening now when we talk about mainstreaming vocational education, we are giving equal weightage and equal importance to all types of learning. One is academic learning, second is skill-based learning, and the third is experiential learning. The vocational part comes very strongly in skill-based learning and experiential learning. So what happens here is we say that, okay, no matter from where you have learned, when we assign credits to you based on assessments, you are at the same level. In other words, we are helping people create career pathways and trying to promote equity among all of them. For example, if somebody's done an ITI course and wants to get into degree, it is not very easy, and not many people are aware also. So after ITI, if they do an NOIS course, which is like a bridge course, they can appear for 12th class exam. And the moment they pass the 12th class exam, they can always get into the academic, stream, right? So these options are coming up, and this is where credits and qualification frameworks play a very important role. So we have a lot of frameworks. You can take a look at all of these. We will send you the links, like the credit framework, NSQF. Then we have these national curriculum framework for schools, and NHEQF for the colleges, and also for undergraduate and postgraduate curriculum, you have curriculum and credit framework. So why are all these coming up? So one reason is because the policy is recommending few new things, which could be first time in the country. Some of the colleges and institutions have already had credit system, right? But today what we are saying is the credit system that we have is like an umbrella. It has to cover many things. And so we are saying that, okay, the credit system should help somebody who's learned experientially, meaning that I come from, let's say, I may be a humanities graduate, but on my own, I would have done a lot of, let's say on my own, I have learned a lot of digital marketing on my own, but I don't have any certificate. I have done it through YouTube. I have done it through this. I have done it through that from different places, or I learned on the job. I don't have a certificate. Now, what do I do? My experiential learning, if it has to be acknowledged and given a certificate, it becomes something like recognition of prior learning. Now, for this, it has to be aligned with a skill level, the qualification framework, and the credit framework. And when I am given an assessment, based on that assessment, I will be qualified and given a certificate saying I am at this level in digital marketing. So like this, you can extend this example to many other industry sectors. So now the credit framework is going to play a very important role, because we are saying no matter from which dimension you learn, academic, vocational, or experiential, like it is called these three axes, you will be getting the same credits. In fact, this is the best example of mainstreaming vocational education and sustainability, because it is addressing both the things here. One is mainstreaming because from the skills axis, you can move to the academic axis. From the experiential axis, you can move to the academic part, or from the academic part, you can go to the skills part. So there is an interchangeability which is possible. And these credit levels are assigned based on your, like at whatever level you are in your academics or in skilling, like you are in, let's say, class 1 to 5 or 8 or 10. So like that, class 12 will be one level. Like, so you have these levels being assigned for various aspects of learning. One is the academic, the skills, and the experiential learning. In case you want to know more about the credit framework, since it is not in the scope of this presentation, I would suggest you watch our YouTube presentation. We had recently done a webinar on credit framework. Kindly watch that. And in case you have any doubts or questions, you can always write to us. That webinar was completely dedicated to credit framework. So this credit framework, all these, regulatory bodies and organizations worked on it. And along with credit framework, the competency-based framework also becomes important, where we are talking about competency levels, which is expressed through NSQF levels, which is, again, in terms of curriculum, we see it as qualification packs and national occupation standards. So this is basically the heart of skill-based education in India today, skill-based learning in India today. We are talking about competency levels as against academic learning, because when we are expressing, our levels in terms of competency, or when we are demonstrating our levels in terms of competency, it means that we are displaying knowledge, we are displaying our skills and also our aptitude. So together it becomes a competency. So this is directly connected with various job roles. And hence we have the NSQF levels, which are levels 1 to 8. Earlier, the levels were from 1 to 10. Now we have them from level 1 to 8. Why 1 to 8? That's because the credit framework is talking about 8 levels, as you can see, 1 to 8. So to match with the credit framework, our NSQF levels are also defined from 1 to 8. And these levels, one can, One can be qualified at entry level, which is at the school level, or in between at the high school level, that is level 4, 4.5 when the person goes into college, or up to 8, which is the highest level. So just to show you an example about this, if you look at the NSQF levels, mostly the NSQF levels will show you the kind of competency one has to have for a certain job role, which is at a certain level. Now at level 3, it could be a job role like a sales executive or assistant sales executive in a retail store. Now for level 6, the job role could be like a team lead, okay, or somebody like a probationary manager or somebody in the retail industry here. The example is from the retail industry, as you can see. So to move from this level to this level, the person has to acquire all those qualifications. Or if somebody has informally learned few things, then that person has to undergo the test, the RPL kind of an assessment, and then qualify. Now here again, healthcare industry, one more example. If a person is at level 3, she must be like a junior assistant nurse or bedside assistant or something. Whereas at level 5, she could be a senior nurse. So how does one move from here to here? You can either move by doing all those courses, which is possible. And this is one way of showing that, look, there is a progression for you. Otherwise, what used to happen earlier with most of the skill-based courses is that people used to think, okay, this is the dead end. There's nothing after this. And then the sad part of the thing is that it also impacted various job roles. And also another reason was most of these people who look for jobs, who undergo skill training, they would migrate to cities and come and work here, and then migration or because of migration related issues. So they go back. And sadly, most people don't stay on in these kind of jobs for long. Okay, 3 months here and 3 months there and 3 months somewhere. So they are just lost after a while. But they need to be told that, look, if you are interested, if you are getting a decent pay, why don't you continue to grow in this level? So this is something very good and makes it aspirational. So this is a very important point about the qualification levels in the skilling ecosystem. Now, when we are talking about these examples, if you have heard about the Skill India Digital Hub, which is a portal and also an app, you can see that most of the courses here are now available in digital format also. Till now, for most of these courses, you had to go to the to the training center and things. But here it is more like a blended thing. Partly you can do here, probably partly you can go to a training center. And also this portal helps in mainstreaming vocational education, because when we are talking about mainstreaming, once again, I would like to reiterate the fact that mainstreaming doesn't mean a one-time effort. Okay, it is not like the policy has said this, so this is happening. It cannot happen like that. Implementation is a big challenge. Implementation comes with several challenges at the ground level, which are specific to the region, which are specific to the state, because education is in concurrent list. So state government will have some policies, state government will have some rules and regulations. It is specific to the challenges of the district. There are so many things. So if we want, let's say, students to pick up 1 or 2 vocational or skill-based courses, we can always direct them to portals like this, or there is another portal called Future Skills Prime. Okay, you can try that portal also. That gives you a lot of technology courses, latest courses in technology, in IT industry. So people can learn different technologies there. Or from this portal also, you can visit various other places to learn. So take a look at this and see how you can use the content from here for mainstreaming vocational education. Now, before I close this presentation, I would just like to summarize whatever I said till now. as we can see today, jobs are changing. Every job has a lot of technology, and skill development cannot be the same as when we say skills or vocational, it is limited to construction worker or plumber, mason, carpenter. Of course, those are skills, they are important, but we have to change the image of those skills as well. Why it's important? Because if we don't do this, the students who are in schools or the youth who have different aspirations will not be able to appreciate those job roles, or they will not be able to appreciate or get sensitized to any sector, because they have a preconceived notion. A skill means, okay, it means an electrician. I don't want to become an electrician. By choice, nobody wants to become this or that. But we need to become something, because we need to have that kind of a life, a livelihood which can, be sustained for long. So for various reasons, we have to take up a job. And that's where it becomes important how we sensitize students. So it is important to show them also the other side of the story. Yes, there could be these skills, but also you have skills like this, where there is electric vehicle, there is fintech, there is electronics, there is green energy, the solar energy or the green sector, there are drones, there is telecom, there are so many others. So this will help us in showing, something which is aspirational. I'm talking about introducing these subjects in the school level to sensitize them. Okay, there are two aspects here. One is, yeah, I want to learn a certain skill. Like say there are a set of young girls, boys and girls maybe in a certain school, and they want to probably, explore beauty sector. They are interested. Okay, they are interested in hairstyling, they are interested in makeup and many other things. And then they enroll for a course in the school itself. They get sensitized, and they might also want to launch it as a career, which is a wonderful thing to happen. Similarly, at the same time, we show them, look, technology also has so many opportunities. They start exploring technology, because most of these things are quite accessible today, no matter where you are. Right? So, this is what is, I think, the aspirational side of it. So before I close, I just want to show you this particular very famous quote about giving a man a fish and feeding him for a day, or you teach somebody to fish and you feed them for a lifetime, right? We have all heard this many a times. So it is feeding men, women, everyone. It's not just man here. So we are talking about feeding someone through teaching fishing. In other words, we are trying to give them those skills which will help them sustain, sustain themselves and also their families, and also have that kind of a path towards progress. Okay, it is not getting stuck in one kind of a job. So now there was an interesting take on this famous quotation. So it talks about, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, and then you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. You can create a tutorial and he can teach himself to how to fish. So this is the tutorial that I was talking about, or the technology, based learning, or the e-learning, or the online learning, or there are so many YouTube videos which you watch. So you don't have to depend on anyone actually today. To some extent, when someone wants to learn a skill, it is available in so many ways. It is there in, certified by the government. You have portals like Skill India, as I just showed you. There are other portals. So I think all it needs is the kind of drive and the motivation and the aspiration. So with this, I would like to close my presentation, but I would just like to take you through a couple of links before I ask you to share your questions. So kindly share your questions, whatever you have in the chat. You can also speak up. Let me just quickly show you the links. Just give me a second. I'll have to share my screen. Yeah. So one, I'll show you this. This is our website, NSN, National Skills Network. Okay, please subscribe to our e-magazine, which we send out every fortnight. This is the place where you can subscribe. And also, if you want to get published or if you have something to write about, do let us know. This is our e-magazine, which is online here. We also send out a PDF version, and this will help you in not only in keeping yourself updated, but we do share a lot of information, in fact, which is kind of telling you about the trends as well, what is going to happen or what you can foresee. And we can also help you in various ways if in case you are interested, to learn more. So do visit our website. And also here, I would like to show you these links. One is, of course, the National Education Policy. You can visit this link to learn more about the policy and look at the TOC here. Then we have the credit framework, which is kind of
Ma'am,
yeah.
we can't see that links, ma'am.
Oh, this is not coming, is it? Okay, I'll share again. Just a second. Okay, yeah, sorry. Sorry, I had to reshare. Now you can see, right? Yeah. Are you able to see now?
No, ma'am.
No?
It's not shared.
There is some issue. I don't know. Okay, let me try putting up these in 1 second. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm sharing. Now are you able to see?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, something was going wrong. Yes, so this is the policy document. I hope some of you have seen it or read it, or you want to read, please read, understand, try to see what are the highlights. But since it's a policy document, please take it as a guidelines or recommendations or provisions. It doesn't mandate that you have to do everything in the same way. It is just giving us a guiding framework. It is for us to interpret and use it as per our university, college, or region, or whatever you are into your institution. This is the credit framework. It's kind of longish framework, and you might find it a bit overwhelming because there are a lot of new things which are being proposed in it. Like I said earlier, we have already done a webinar. The link of the webinar, you can go through our YouTube channel and take a look at that. Or Divya, you can share the link also in the chat if possible.
Yeah.
We have discussed this at length. So in case you want to know more, please come back. We can definitely help you. Now, NCVET is the most important organization when it comes to regulations and quality and frameworks and all that in the skilling ecosystem. So we have the NSQF notification from NCVET here, the changes that were carried out and how it is aligned with NCRF and other things. And you can go through the website of NCVET and learn more from here. And one more I would like to show you is the NQR, which is the National Qualification Register, where you will find the curriculum and the qualification pack and national occupation standards for various industry sectors, as you can see here. Let's assume that you want to offer a course in retail, or you want to offer a course in logistics, or in media and entertainment, or any of these industries, or textile and handloom, or telecom. You can come here and click. You will see that so many qualifications are listed here, and it also gives you the number of hours. So with the number of hours, you can calculate the credits, and the NSQF level is also mentioned here. So when you open this document, when you click this link, you will see many documents here. You can download these documents and study them. So basically, all the groundwork is done. And when you are using this curriculum, you are already sure that it is all certified, accredited, and recognized by the government because it's coming from NCVET. And in case you want to develop your qualifications, you can do that also and keep writing to NCVET for more information. Check out what is the procedure, how you go about doing it. So those possibilities are also available. So NQR for me is a very important site where you get to see everything under one website. So you can visit NQR website also. Yeah, you can see here all the qualifications are listed and all the awarding bodies are also listed. Besides the sector skill councils, there are others also. And a lot of this, like I said earlier, you have, one second. Yeah, you have few qualifications for this world skill, or you have across industry sectors, job roles. So there are various ways you can take a look at this, and please visit this. Yeah, so these are the important sites as far as I could show you. Now, for anything else you can explore, we will definitely send you the links. Yeah, let us now, if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer. So, yeah, please share your questions. Yeah, any points, any observations or questions?
Madam, government encourages for this mainstreaming or empaneling private institutes for making awareness like you are doing this
No,
something.
we are not empaneled. We do it on our own. We have nothing to do with any
That
government.
I know that, but
Yeah.
the government has any policy like that? Because a
No,
lot of awareness is not there in our society.
there is
That's
no,
then
see,
I found that my observation is that.
yeah, see, I don't see anything like a policy on this, but since we started all this even before many things started, from the government, we started promoting these things 9 years ago. We see that afterwards, many people started creating awareness in the same way as we are doing.
Yes.
But then I don't see any support or any such policy from the government on this. But I see many people now taking the same approach as we started. So that's a good thing if we have, created some kind of a lead in this direction. I think, yeah.
Yes,
But
the main problem that training centers are facing, uh,
yeah,
enrollment of the students, of the learner.
yeah,
And you said that this is normally, perception, matter of perception. Electrician, nobody want to become electrician.
yes.
Nobody want to become air condition mechanic. Everyone drive the car, and if AC does not work, but nobody want to do that course. And
Hmm.
lot of requirement is there. So
Yeah.
this is the problem. They can join the Zomato and Swiggy, but it's a very difficult them to bring be a electrician or be AC mechanic. They
That's
can
true.
charge whatever. If I call one AC mechanic, my AC is not working, so I can pay at that time 200 rupees. Please come, or 500 rupees, because that is need is there. But I found that this is my observation.
Yeah, so this is a very appropriate question. Like, see, it's not like government is not creating awareness. They are creating awareness in many ways. It is not just one thing. So what we notice is there are training partners themselves who create a lot of awareness through success stories. Or NSDC does a lot of work in this area. They used to earlier publish these stories, success stories, or mobilizing, tips for mobilizing, or there were many things which were happening, at various stages. That's why I said there isn't one thing that is happening. There are many things that are happening, and training partners are taking their own ways. They use a lot of social media to create awareness and tell people. But what we notice is, see, this is a very serious problem. Okay, that's why I told you this changes cannot come in 1 day or 2 days.
Next
uh,
time, yes.
One is like, one of the things we were trying to promote was the role models. Okay, does somebody see a role model in somebody who's become an electrician and grown in that profession, or become an entrepreneur and runs a business which is through which he is actually creating employment? So that role model story probably can help someone.
Yes, yes.
So by choice, most of these jobs are taken by force. We know that. We need to accept it also. But when mainstreaming of vocational education happens through curriculum, through organized efforts, like we just saw from the school level, college level, or all these, that might change this perception.
Yes,
It
yes.
might change. Okay, again, it's a
Thank you,
question
madam.
of,
Thank you. Yeah,
lot
nice.
of
You have answered my question. Yes, I
yeah.
understand that.
Any other points or observations or suggestions?
Yeah, this is
I'll give you the feedback afterwards.
Yeah. Yes, somebody was speaking.
yes, madam. This is Murlidhar speaking, madam.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, when I saw this, because I attracted the word is sustainability. So by
Yeah.
seeing your sentence in the messages, then what is the sustainability in the sector? Because since the last 4 years, I am focusing on the skilling part and the computer education for the rural population. So from high school level to the college level students. So again, the wherever I go, wherever I visited, and then schools observed that there is no infrastructure, there is no quality teachers, there is no opportunity for the students to. They are ultimately depriving the skilling part, and then coming out to the 10th class, intermediate class, and looking for the some sort of the miscellaneous opportunity. When I approached this part of it, I want to set up a lab at taluka level. But all the investors, angel investors, THUB people are asking that is there any revenue for you? Is there any growth for you? So just now, I couple of months back, I saw that the artificial intelligence has been introduced in the school level from sixth to level onwards. When the infrastructure for basic computer education doesn't have the infrastructure, there is no instructor at all. But again, they are talking about the artificial intelligence for the sixth class students, for the CBSE students. But what about the government high schools who are in the state academic position? And where is the sustainability coming to the picture? How do you we transform that terminology in sustainability? It doesn't mean that everyone has to acquire the sequence of the certifications and then creating knowledge is the such a sustainability in the NEP policy level. I could not understand the proper definition for that. If you able to tell me a little bit on that part, I am very happy.
Where are you from? What do
Yeah,
you do?
I'm Hyderabad only. I'm staying in Chitanpuri.
No, what is it that are you running a training center or what do you do?
Yeah, I'm the trainer, but I am have the company Dharani Life Skills Private Limited. I my portion is to skilling knowledge conversion into the scaling part and connects to the job opportunity. That is the highest target for me. So I initiated to the bringing the knowledge on the about the skilling part, computer education for the school children.
Yeah, yeah, I got that. Yeah.
So in that
Yeah.
part, the sustainability,
Yeah.
how it, I am
See, the way, yeah, the way
unable to sustainability. That's why I'm looking.
Yeah, okay. I partly understood what you're trying to say. I'm afraid I may not have understood it completely. Whatever I understood, I'll try to just respond. Otherwise, we can always discuss outside the webinar also. So what I understood is that the need for sustainability from what you're doing. See, for us, the idea we took this topic because for us we feel things have to be sustainable whatever we start. Whether you get a CSR funding and run the course, or whether you get a grant from somewhere and do something, or whether you get a government, funding, or like you have PMKVY type of schemes where government, gives you this kind of, you get paid for doing a certain number of targeted skilling. Whatever is the mode, for us, the word sustainability is important because it has to continue. It should not die down. That is why the mainstreaming of vocational education, we felt, is a proactive measure to bring that sustainability into the system. The moment you bring it into the curriculum, the moment you mainstream it, because what you are saying is like outside the system, right? You want to now bring it into the system. And naturally, there will be questions. You will not have support. You may not have money. Like you said, somebody asked you, what is the profit or how do you get revenue from this? All these questions will be asked. Correct? So that's
Correct.
the reason I said this is a change which we are looking for. And we need to figure out how we bring in that change. But for us, when we made this entire scheme of presentation, for us, mainstreaming of vocational education is an example of a sustainable model. That is how we interpreted it. Now, if I have not answered your question, I'd be happy to have a chat with you outside this webinar. You have the email ID. Please write to us. Okay, I'll be
Yeah,
happy talk to you. Yeah.
I will
Thank
connect you because since many months I am seeing your site and then
Thank
understanding
you.
the work you are doing. But because I visited sometimes in its T Hub also, but I could not able to spare time. Anyhow, I will get back to you and we will discuss
Sure.
elaborated on this point.
Sure. We can see if we can discuss this further and figure out what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Any other questions or observations? Before
Can I speak, ma'am?
Yeah. Yes. You
Yeah,
can
one.
also come on the video, please.
Oh, okay.
It would be nice to see everyone. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, who was speaking? Shama Shom. Is it? We are not able to hear you. Hello. Can you type in your question or your point here in the chat? Because we need to close this now. It's already time.
Yeah, ma'am. Can I speak, ma'am?
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is for
yeah,
1 minute. Yeah, my name is S.P. Shom.
yeah.
I'm speaking from Belgorия Pratibha Foundation from Calcutta.
Okay.
Okay. We are a skill development training partner of Government of West Bengal. We are doing a nice training, but ma'am, regarding the RPL, what we have discussion, what we have seen, they got a regular courses like electricians, they got like cooks. But for RPL, they do not have a regular course. Like midday meal, we are doing this RPL course for about 2,000 cooks throughout the not 24,000. But if they have a regular, like a hotel, they are running a lot of the people who do not have a proper qualifications. If they give it these peoples for these RPL courses, they can teach this one, and from the externals, the people will come and they will take and give us certifications. Now, RPL is very limited, but there are a lot of the skilled people working, they do not have a certificate. People are not doing much work on those RPL people.
Yeah, maybe you can take it forward. Yes, that is what we are calling it as experiential learning, which has to be certified. And you need to have an industry partner for that, right? So it is RPL
No,
certification.
we have this one.
Yeah. There is nothing like an RPL
No, but what
course.
I said,
Sorry.
No, because what I said, that the skilled people, no, there are a lot of the courses they are doing, but a lot of the people who are skilled, especially in the hotel industries, but not much work has been done for the RPL to give a certification or gradation, whether they're skilled, unskilled, semi-skills, no, like the parameters, so that they can get an increment, they can get a better chances if those people can be get on these channels, no, RPL channel.
No. Actually, all this is being done. Maybe you should write.
Not much, ma'am. Not much what we have seen.
Okay. I'm not aware of that, but as far as I know, the Hospitality, Tourism and Hospitality Sector Skill Council is engaged in this. And there could be other training partners who work closely with the industry also. So maybe you can check and write to them. You might get some help. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, any other question or suggestion before we close? Okay, thank you all. Thank you so much for participating today, and we look forward to your participation in the future webinars also. We are going to touch upon few important aspects of skill development and education in India. And it would be nice if you can also recommend our webinars to your colleagues or people who would be interested, and kindly share your feedback. Thanks once again. Good evening and have a nice weekend. Thank you.